Welcome to today's cabinet. The first item on the agenda is apologies for absence. We've had apologies from Councillor Goodwin and Councillor Mushtaq. Is there anybody else? Thank you. Item 2, urgent business. Thank you. Item 3, declarations of interest. Does any member have any item where they want to declare an interest on the agenda? No? Okay. Item 4, public question time. Thank you. Item 5 is minutes. Does Cabinet agree the minutes of the meeting held on the 14th of October 2024?
Agreed.
Thank you. Item 6, minutes from the shareholder committee. So does Cabinet agree the minutes of the meeting of the shareholder committee held on the 3rd of October 2024?
Agreed.
Agreed. Item 7 is Revenue Monitor and Capital Investment Programme 24-25. Councillor Jabbar.
Thank you, Chair. So this report gives you an update on the capital expenditure and revenue expenditure for the financial year, the current financial year. This is for the period up to end of September, so we call it month 6. And as you can see from the report, we're actually projecting an overspend by the end of this financial year of 19.9 million. This is a very significant, obviously, overspend. This is slightly down from the last time we brought a report here, Chair, which was month 4, and that was 21 million. So just 1.1 million pound reduction. The pressures are still in the same areas, so adult social care, children's services, temporary accommodation. This is primarily due to the demand and the cost of those services. Unfortunately, we're not alone in this space. Any local authority who have responsibility for children's services, adults and temporary accommodation are facing similar kind of pressure. And unfortunately, despite our best attempts, our latest projection is there's going to be around £20 million overspend by the end of this financial year. Now, in terms of the ask from the government, we know in the budget last month, the Chancellor has given us new money, which is very welcome. But the issue that we have is that there's been other increases that's happened as part of the Treasury announcement. So we've seen an increase in employers' insurance cost, and at the same time, rightly so, the living foundation wage has gone up as well. So unless we get additional money from the government to deal with these pressures, we will have these very large overspend. So I hope the government is considering the pressure the sector is facing, and that when they issue the provisional local government settlement in December next month, then that they give us the resources that we need to continue to provide these very important services under very, very difficult circumstances. We're doing everything we can to manage the overspend. There's regular meetings, budgetary meeting at management level, at director level, and I'm involved with the Director of Finance monitoring what's happening. And those are actually paying dividends, and we are making a very significant amount of saving by stopping things like vacancies. We put a vacancy control in place where we're only filling vacancies that are absolutely essential. So they have consequences, but despite all that, Chair, the projected overspend is very, very significant, and we definitely need help from government in order to deal with the challenges that we face this year and next year. In terms of the capital programme, there's a slight revision, and we're now projecting a total spend of 99.7 million for this year. And there's been some slippages which has been put on for the future years. I'm relatively happy with this spend for the capital programme and the slippages that's been taken to future years. addition to these two reports, there's on Appendix 1, there's the revised reserves policy. We thought it was appropriate that we do bring that given the circumstances we find ourselves. So that's for consideration as well. Clearly, Chair, if there are any comments, then happy to take those, myself and the directors here, and of course the Chief Executive is here as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Jabbar. I think, I mean, it's clearly obvious that lots of hard work has gone into bringing the budget pressure down from its height of £25 million to £19 million, and I'm really grateful for all the hard work that's been put into that from you and the team, but the staff at the council more broadly. I know it's not been easy. I know that it's been exceptionally difficult for them, but I am really grateful, and I do want to put that on record. And I know that they will continue to work in that same hard working ethic, like over the next few months as well. I'm sure, like me as well, everybody will want to welcome the announcements made by the Chancellor of the Exchequer, Rachel Reeves, in last month's budget. I think there was lots to be optimistic about, given the kind of budgets that we've had announced over the last 14 years. I thought it was a very welcomed budget. I think exceptionally acknowledging the cash that was announced for local authorities to deal with the rising pressures of adults and children's social care, because that's been something that we've been long asking for. And I think, you know, especially in terms of like housing and temporary accommodation, it's a huge step in the right direction from a government that's really, really serious about working together so that we can deliver for our residents. The government also did announce major reforms to children's social care, to crack down on like any exploitative providers, making sure that the best outcomes for children and young people are at the front and centre of what we do, rather than the private profit-making practices that we've seen so far. And this will be equally helpful in addressing some of the challenges that we've got in Oldham and elsewhere across the country regarding like the cost of placements in children's care, because we know that's one of our largest spend areas. So I'm really grateful that we've now finally, I mean, we need to wait to see what happens in a couple of weeks to see what that actually means in terms of support. But actually, I'm really grateful that at least all the conversations and the soundings are heading towards the right direction, which means that they're valuing local government, which is a huge and a massive actually culture change than what we've experienced for the last 14 years. So thank you so much for the work again, Abdul, that you've done, but that all the team's done. But to actually, Shelley, if you as Chief Exec could pass my thanks on to all our staff who's like worked really hard to get us to this position. So does any other member wish to comment on that report? No. Does Cabinet agree with the recommendations as set out in the report? Okay, thank you. So the next item, Oldham Town Centre Development Framework, is mine. So over the summer, you'll all have seen that we had a really, really successful community engagement programme where we distributed consultation leaflets to leisure centres, GP surgeries, libraries, family hubs, community centres. We held 9 in-person events across the borough. We reached over 38,000 people on social media, and we've now worked with Muse to refine that development framework based on the back of the feedback that we had from our residents. And the reason why I've spoken in detail about that is because it's been a true consultation in every term of the word, because what we were really, really keen to do was take our residents on a journey with us and make sure that their voice was like throughout all the key themes that emerged from the consultation, where residents raise issues around car parking, trust and safety, getting the mix of housing right, accessibility, green space, and community, and most importantly, the character of what the town centre will look like. So the responses we've received have been taken into account, and we've made amendments to the framework on the back of that. And these can be found at Appendix 6 if people are curious for more details or want to have a look themselves. But the framework itself is going to be used to guide how we move forward as a partnership. It's going to inform our planning decisions on developments in the town centre, and it's going to also help us to hold Muse to account. Not that I'm saying that's what they need, but it will do. So we have to be able to measure ourselves against something. And it's a really exciting report, and it marks a really important step in terms of our partnership with Muse. We've got a shared vision, which we have spoken about on various occasions. Every time I'm with the managing director, we actually speak because he's an Oldham person himself. We talk about how much we really need these new homes, but how the homes have to be right for the people of Oldham, as well as creating opportunities for other businesses and individuals. We're really committed to building a better Oldham where our residents not only feel like they've got a voice, but they have pride, not just in the town centre, but the entire borough. So we're maximising every opportunity we get to make Oldham a fantastic place to live and visit. We are a cooperative council, so we're bringing the community with us every step of the way. So I think this is just another sort of acknowledgement of how we're working with our residents, for our residents, and to get the best outcomes that we can for them and future generations. So unless any other member has got anything else to say on that report, I think it's pretty straightforward. You've got details in that if you want any further clarity. Yeah, Abdul?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I think this is a fantastic document. It sets out very clearly the ambition Oldham Council has for the town and for the borough. And I'm particularly grateful that you repeatedly mention about the mix of housing that we need, because in Oldham we lack large family housing. And if you look at our existing stock in every tenure, then you find there's a massive shortage of a larger unit starting from a 3-bedroom onwards. And I'm really pleased to see that's incorporated in this document. But I think, Chair, in terms of the document as a whole, it really is very, very nice, and it gives a very positive impression of the work that's going on in our town, and everybody should be really excited about that, proud of the work that we're doing with Muse, and I'm sure, with their help, we can transform our town centre. I think these things don't happen accidentally. It happens because you provided an excellent leadership in this space, together with all the senior officers, Emma, Shelley, Harry, and so on. And I think we don't thank them enough for the work they do to transform our borough and to create this wonderful document. So with your permission, Chair, I'd like to record my thanks to the team for the way they've developed this and how they managed to reach out to our residents to produce this wonderful document.
Yeah, I agree. And I think we've got fantastic Deputy Chief Exec in Emma. So if you could a thanks to you, but also if you could pass that on to your team as well. So does Cabinet agree with the recommendations as set out in that report? Agreed. Thank you. Item 9, inclusion of Oldham Mumps Princess Gate into the Town Centre Development Partnership. Councillor Taylor.
Thank you, Chair. And following on from some of the comments that you've just made, this report sets out the rationale for the Council's inclusion of Oldham Mumps Princess Gate site into the Town Centre Development Partnership with Muse. This is a key gateway site for us, and the decision to approve this report will ensure that delegated authority is provided to enter into any relevant or supplementary agreements that may be required. This site forms a key part of the town centre housing offer and will deliver around 295 much needed new homes. The inclusion of Princess Gate will also enable us to push forward with the delivery of the Town Centre Regeneration Master Plan, which is supported by Brownfield Housing Land Grant funding of up to £5.5 million that has been secured for the site. Muse anticipate finalising the proposals and submitting a detailed planning application for the new homes early next year. And I think, following on from some of the points that have just been made, obviously we want to make sure that that is a suitable fit for our residents and that we have all types and tenure of property available. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Taylor. And again, I think following on from the previous item, we're breathing life again into that area near Princess Gate with more much needed homes in the town centre. But if you think about Southlink development just over the road, we're determined to transform that bit of the town centre in a great place, as a great place to live too. And it's a great location near Mumps as well. You've got the tram stop and the bus terminal really in close proximity. And it means that residents will be able to not only live there, but they'll have access to jobs and opportunities in Oldham and beyond. So a really fantastic report and another important step on the way to delivering a new opportunity for our residents. So does any other member wish to speak on that report? No? Okay, so Cabinet's going to consider the recommendations of that report in Part B, Item 14. So the next item is item 10, which is Right Start and School Nursing Staff Consultation Outcome. Councillor Brownridge.
Thank you, Chair. I think this is just very straightforward. It's a proposal to change the model of how we deliver Right Start and school nursing, both of which the school nursing is a statutory service. There's been a problem of having enough bodies in the ground to do it. So it's making better use of the staff we have to deliver a more widespread service. And I think it's fair to say that the parts of it will, how can I put this? We're making the best use of the staff we have to give the best service we can to as many people as we can. So we've been given perhaps a gold star service to a very small number, and we need to rejig it in order to make a better service to more people. So it's been out to consultation. It's all been agreed. So I think we'll just say it's a change that will improve things within the restrictions that we have financially and staff-wise.
Again, another fantastic report. If we look at the work we've done over the last 12 months, transforming the way we deliver services to our families, with our 7 new family hubs being central to that, which means that we're providing more services to more families than we've ever done before. And I just think that's fantastic. And these are just not statutory council and health services. Our family hubs, they've acted like a focal point to families, providing them vital help. And that many of our partners in the community, voluntary and faith sector can offer them too. And as part of our commitment to deliver better family services in Oldham, we've been consulting with staff, haven't we anyway, on the restructure of the Right Start and Right School nursing service, which is currently delivered in a partnership agreement, isn't it, Barbara, with Northern Care Alliance. And like you mentioned, the staff, so that includes, I think, 2P of 32 staff from Northern Care Alliance, Oldham Council. So it's just really, really positive. It's going to help build support families, but build resilient families too, that are self-reliant and independent, whilst having access to what they need, when they need it, at the place that they can access it the most easiest. So I think good news all the way around. So again, fantastic work, Barbara, to you and your team. So does any other member have any comments to make on that report? No, and I think we're discussing the recommendations, item 15 of that report. Okay, so item 11 is the catering review implementation. So Cabinet will remember that as part of last year's budget setting process, we agreed to review the school catering service, as the number of schools contracting the council to provide the service is rapidly declining. Well, it's been declining for some years, but it seems to be more even now. So it's both impacting our ability to run the service well and provide the quality school meals that our children and young people deserve. So we've commissioned the Association of Public Service Excellence to independently review the service, and they've concluded that the current model, as we expected, is unsustainable, and the best course of action would be to transition the service back to schools. This will protect jobs as the staff are tupied back to schools, and it's going to increase local decision making for the schools and increase the quality of meals on offer at schools as well. Councillor Ali, is there anything that you want to add to that?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Yeah, just more or less, what you've said. I think the potential benefits are that it will increase the quality of school meals in terms of variety and quality, and hopefully it will maintain the low meal prices as well. And as you've said, Chair, it will give the schools more autonomy in terms of, the caterers that they can work with. They can produce menus of their own and tailor a provision for the specific needs of the pupils. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Does any other member wish to comment on the report? Again, that's another report that we're going to consider the recommendations of at item 16. Item 12, Councillor Brownridge, it's over to you for the Public Health Investment Review.
Yeah, thank you. So this has been an in-depth analysis of what services for the council are funded out of the public health budget, with the intention of being certain that they're actually delivering a public health outcome. So the first phase of this was to obviously identify what money came out of that budget and who it went to. It's going to be followed by a very detailed sort of KPIs of what we expect that money to deliver, and to monitor that it's actually delivering that public health benefit. with a view in the long term to perhaps stop some funding some things that don't deliver a public health benefit, but doing that as part of a concentrated and sensible review of expenditure across the council. But as I say, the main thrust of that is to actually demonstrate that the public health budget is delivering public health outcomes. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Brownridge. And we're going to consider the recommendations of that report at item 17. Does any other member wish to comment on that report? No?
Can I just say, Chair,
Yeah.
I think we're taking a very comprehensive view of what public health benefit is. So we're taking well-being into that. It's quite a significant part of this. It's not just stopping people getting colds or giving up smoking. We're taking a much more wider view of what public health is, because we do realise that well-being, social prescribing, all those things are a very important contribution. I think I should have made that clear, sorry.
No, I think you did, and I think you make that point every time you speak to this. No, but it's true, because it's important, isn't it? Because people don't completely understand, like, when you... So, for example, it's not going to be... People will not expect us to do the work on, you know, diabetes or anything else, or even the investment into our parks to make sure that we improve mental well-being. There's lots into this, so I think it's right that you've mentioned it, but thank you so much. For keeping all the important elements that sometimes people see as fluffy, which aren't, a really important preventative work on your radar. I think that's really important. So thank you so much for that. Okay, item 13 is exclusion of the press and public. Yep, agreed.